Good evening, this is the Lone Cowboy Hour. I'm Michael Martin Murphy, and this is a show about doing it on your own, solo performing. If you're not a musician, about being able to take care of your life and your skills by yourself from your own hard inner core of your soul. I'm on a rundown, I'm out running sundown, thinking I'm on the right track. I'm writing a song as I'm riding along, and I'm keeping the sun at my back. Big horse trailer and truck, I can make my own luck. I ride to the sand and the sage. It gives me a rush to be busting the brush and acting about half my age. Lone cowboy, I'm doing my best. Lone cowboy, I go everywhere west. Lone cowboy, with my old campfire songs. Lone cowboy, giddy up, get along. I've owned some good ponies, blacks, bays, and blue ronies, bays, palominos, and pets. Got good songs and bad ones, up songs and sad ones, songs about sinners and saints. I'm still riding like wildfire to find the next campfire. Memories turn embers to coals. But at daylight I'm crying to live forever or die trying. I'll never get old in my soul. Lone cowboy, I'm doing my best. Lone cowboy, I go everywhere west. Lone cowboy, with my old campfire songs. Lone cowboy, giddy up, get along. Glad you could be with us tonight on Lone Cowboy Hour. Glad you chose to spend a little bit of time with me. I've spent quite a few years developing a form of guitar playing I call Lone Cowboy playing. It's a finger-style guitar, and I'm going to demonstrate a lot of that tonight. It's a way that you can keep the bass, the rhythm, and the melody going on the guitar at the same time while you're singing along. I'm going to give you the best example of that I have right now. It's called Caroline in the Pines. If you're new to the show, I'm going to do a few songs that will identify me so you know who I am and what I've done. This came out a long time ago, so if you're new, you may not have ever heard it before, but if you've been around for a while but not seen the show, you might recognize it. Came to me, said she knew me, said she'd known me a long time, and she spoke of being in love with every mountain she had climbed, and she talked of trails she'd walked up far above the timberline. From that night on, I knew I'd write songs to Caroline There's a new moon on the 14th, first quarter the 21st, and the full moon in the last week brings a fullness to this earth. There's no guesswork in the clockwork of the world's art or mine. There are nights I only feel right, but Carolina in the pines. When the frost shows on the windows and the wood stove smokes and glows, as the fire grows we will warm our souls, watching rainbows in the cold. And we'll talk of trails we walked up far above the timberline. There are nights I only feel right, but Carolina in the pines. Sweet Carolina. And that goes out to Lynn McPeak, who requested that song. And this is a live show tonight, not taped. And you can see we got the old background of my sitting room here at the old Murphy Rancho. And glad you could be along with us. We're taking requests from all over the country, all over the world tonight. And we've got several more. Let's see if we can find another one to do right now. This one I think might be a good one to do. I have to retune my guitar for it, but while I'm saying that, I just want to let you know, next week we'll be back to start back up again on going through my different albums. We've been gradually going through from Geronimo's Cadillac up to my most recent album, and we're going to even introduce a new album before it's over. So hope you'll tune in next week for that. And we just decided, though, we wanted to do a live one this week. We hadn't done one of those in a while. It's just great to interact with an audience again. So, okay, let's do this one. This is for Kim Talley, who asked for this one. This song came out first in 1972, and it was on an album called Geronimo's Cadillac, and the song is called Geronimo's Cadillac. They put Geronimo in jail down south, where he couldn't look the gift horse in the mouth. Sergeant, Sergeant, don't you feel something wrong with your automobile? Governor, Governor, now isn't it strange? They did not have no cars on the Indian range. Warden, Warden, listen to me. Be brave and set Geronimo free. Whoa, boys, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Whoa, boys, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Whoa, boys, take me back. I wanna ride in the Cadillac. Let me ride, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Let me ride. White man, don't you know? Indians, I had no place to go. Took old Geronimo by storm, ripped off the feathers from his uniform. Jesus, tell me and I believe it's true. Red is the color in the sunset too. Ripped off his land, won't give it back. Sent Geronimo a Cadillac. I say, whoa, boys, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Whoa, boys, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Let me ride. Let me ride in the Cadillac. Let me ride, take me back. I wanna ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. Let me ride. Let me ride. Let me ride. Let me ride. Put that song out in 1972. That was my first album that was ever released and my first single. And that song took me a long way in life. It got me into some interesting situations. It was used during the occupation at Wounded Knee back in the 1970s. I guess probably a year or two after the song was originally released. And It was used for a lot of other purposes. I've always been an advocate for Native American rights. I still am. I'm married to a Native American. We're trying to get back federal recognition for the Apalachicola Creek tribe. So I hope you'll keep tuned and let me tell you a little bit more about that as time goes on and some of the other shows. Right now we're going to take another request. You know, I've done quite a bit of my career. I've spent most of my career now doing cowboy music. I took a different direction back in about 1989, 1990. I decided that I was tired of mainstream country music and pop music that I had been in and some other things, and I just wanted to sing the songs of my culture and my people, and that's cowboy music. This is coming to you from Cowtown tonight, by the way, Fort Worth, Texas, where I'm close to a lot of horseback riding. I get to ride my horses out in the country around here, out on a couple of nice ranches, and also get to go into Western country on foot too, and get to go to a lot of horse shows because my daughter is a horse trainer, and really excited this week because she just took first place in her class in Las Vegas, Nevada. So this is a particularly great moment for me to be singing a cowboy song. This one is a kind of a sad cowboy song in a lot of ways, but it's a song that honors the transparency, you might say, of cowboys, their ability to talk about their mistakes. You know, a lot of people like to cover up their mistakes. Cowboys are the first ones to talk about mistakes they made. And so this is called Streets of Laredo. It's actually a very old song, and it goes back a long time. I think you scrolled, I'm looking at the teleprompter now, you scrolled away from it. There it is. This is for Kelly Toon. I need to dedicate this to Kelly Toon, who requested this song tonight. Thanks for requesting it. By the way, back in the day, this is originally an Irish ballad called The Bard of Armagh. And many a cowboy, who was Irish came over to America to get a job, particularly in the 19th century. A lot of them became cowboys. So they took a lot of their folk music with them. So I'm going to sing just one verse of the original lines of it, and then I'm going to go into the cowboy version, which after the Irishman had a little bit of experience out on the range as a cowboy, then he was able to change the words to go with what he saw. But there's still a song about looking back on your mistakes and being sorry for them. Oh, listen to the tale of the old Irish harper, scoring not the strains of his old withered hands. Remember those fingers once could move sharper to raise up the strains of his dear native land. How I long to muse on the days of my boyhood, and 83 years have fled by them. And it's a keen, sweet reflection that every young joy for the merry-hearted boys make the best of old men. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Play the Dead March as you carry me along. Take me to the Green Valley, lay the sod on me, For I'm bold Phelim Brady, I'm the bard of Armagh. And then here's the Western words. Oh, as I walked out on the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, wrapped up in white linen and cold as the clay. He said, I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly stepped by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. I'm shot in the chest and I'm going to die. Oh, beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Play the Dead March as you carry me along. Take me to the green valley and lay the sod o'er me. For I'm a young cowboy, I know I've done wrong. That one was also done, dedicated to a fellow named Willie who requested the song and played with me at the Amarillo Country Review Tour in 1973. I'd forgotten about that, Willie, but I hadn't forgot about you. So here's to you. Thanks for requesting that song. Also want to send that out to Kathy and Don Edwards. Don Edwards, probably the best singer of that song ever. I remember playing it several times when he joined me at some symphony performances that we did. One in Amarillo to raise money for the devastating wildfires that they had up there back a few years ago. And that was with the Amarillo Symphony, and Don came on stage, sang the song with me. We also did it in Colorado for blizzards, a blizzard benefit where thousands of cattle died and 11 people lost their lives in the blizzards up there. And after it was all over, we took over the state fairgrounds, and we played that big Coliseum in there, and we had the Pueblo, that's a city in Colorado, the Pueblo Symphony Orchestra come in and play, and we raised a lot of money that night for the blizzard. So we've done fire and we've done ice, right? And benefits for a lot of other things. I'm about to start down the road pretty soon of working with an organization called Feed the Hungry. I'll be telling you about that on subsequent shows coming up, where we not only give people relief during disasters, but feed people all over the world in partnership with a lot of great organizations that do that. You know, no matter what the situation is, whether it's a disaster or just poverty or just because of drought or something like that, there can be hunger. And the bottom line is people have to eat, have the energy to deal with whatever other challenges they have. Okay, let's do another one to Renee Hunziger. Renee Hunziger is a longtime fan. Renee, we really appreciate you being a subscriber to our YouTube channel. And by the way, folks, you can subscribe to the channel too, and it will get you right directly to it every week. We really appreciate all the support that we've had over the years. Everything that we do on this show, when we're raising money, goes to Murphy Western Institute, and that's no exception tonight. We'll be raising money tonight through some of the offers that we have on our website. On the website, I have a store, and the merchandise sales from that store tonight will be going to a number of different causes that Murphy Western Institute supports out there, such as providing wild horses for Native American kids so they can have a horse to ride and get a cowboy job, and a number of other places where we put that money. So I remember one year we raised money for the Houston flooding situation that they had right after the hurricane. And it's just been one great thing after another, dealing with things that Murphy Western Institute can get into. So Renita, this is for you. I said Renee, but I meant Renita. He ain't been right since she's been gone. She's been known to tie one on. Glass could break, chairs could fly. We best keep that cowboy occupied. Let the cowboy dance, let him dance all night. Maybe he won't fuss, and maybe he won't fight. It's our only hope, it's our only chance. Clear the floor, boys, let the cowboy dance. Let him click up his heels, or he'll kick down doors. Give him lots of room when he hits that barroom floor. If he has to dance with your wife, let her go and save your life. Let the cowboy dance, let him dance all night. Maybe he won't fuss, maybe he won't fight. It's our only hope, it's our only chance. Clear the floor, boys, and let the cowboy dance. Music calms the savage beast, and he's a big old boy at the very least. He'll get over that Red River girl someday. Until then, get out of his way. Let the cowboy dance, let him dance all night. Maybe he won't fuss, and maybe he won't fight. It's our only hope, it's our only chance. Clear the floor, boys, and let the cowboy dance. Clear the floor, boys, and let the cowboy dance. Oh, that's a lot of fun, and that song sure brings back a lot of memories for me, because I got the idea for that song from hanging out at a place in Red River, New Mexico called the Mother Lode. And anybody who's watched this show for very long knows that I still return back to New Mexico every single summer to play shows. And now I partner up with the guy who owned that old place, the Mother Lode, which is called a saloon. It's a historic saloon. And I play outdoor shows up at the Rocking 3M Chuck Wagon. And that is a new venue that I built about 10 years ago, celebrating our 10th year. So I guess it's not so new anymore. But it sits right on a lake. It's outdoors, and it's not a saloon, not a bar. In fact, we don't even serve alcohol. It's a family place. And but you can get out there and dance around if you want to. And we serve great biscuits, beans, and ballads. We have ballads. That's what we do. So I'd like for you to come on up and join me at the Rockin' 3M Chuck Wagon. Now I'm going to do something else, kind of a quieter cowboy song that we have a request for called Spanish is a Loving Tongue. And I'm jumping around here, so I've got some cheat sheet notes here. I can find who requested Spanish is a Loving Tongue. Anytime somebody requests that, I always do it. So let's see. Here we go. No, you went right by it. So keep on going. There, yeah. So it's Yvonne Rogers Ingram, and this is called Spanish is a Loving Tongue. This is an old cowboy song. I've been singing this for a long time because I'm an old cowboy. But this was written long before I was born. Camp comes from the border country down around Sonora, Mexico. And cowboys from the U.S. used to become illegal immigrants and go across the border to get jobs on ranches in Mexico back in that day. That's exactly what this song is about. A lot of times they'd go down there and they'd fall in love with a beautiful Mexican senorita. But then because of political change, which as we always know, politics is always changing the border situation, just like it is these days. And but the Americans would no longer be welcome in Mexico and they'd have to get out. But over the years, I can say that it's been my experience. Mexico has been very welcoming to American people for a long time. Maybe during the time of Pancho Villa, when this song was written, might have been a good time for Americans to get out, to save their own hides. Spanish is the loving tongue, softest springtime, lightest spray. There was a girl I learned it from, living down Sonora way. Now I don't look much like a lover, yet I say her love words over late at night when I'm all alone. Mi amor, mi corazón. There were nights when I would ride, she would listen for my spurs, fling that big door open wide, raise those laughing eyes of her, and how those hours would get to flying. Pretty soon I'd hear her crying, Please don't leave me all alone. Mi amor, mi corazón. Then one time I had to fly. Got myself into a foolish gambling fight. I had to say a swift goodbye. In that black unlucky night, and traveling north, her words kept ringing, and every hoofbeat could hear her saying, please don't leave me all alone. Mi amor, mi corazón. I've never seen her since that night. I can't cross the border, you know. She is Mexican and I am white. Like as not, it's better so. And yet I've always sort of missed her since that very first night I kissed her, left her heart, I lost my own. Adios, mi corazón. Spanish is a loving tone. This is the Lone Cowboy Hour. And by the way, any of the songs we're playing live here tonight can be heard again, along with just about every song I've ever recorded on my website. We just started a new streaming service on my website where you can go directly to my website and stream my albums one track at a time. And we've got, many, many albums on there. I've made a lot of albums in my career. So if you want to go to michaelmartinmurphy.com, and then when you get to my website, it's spelled Murphey, remember that, michaelmartinmurphy.com. Just click on music, and it'll give you all my music, and you can sample the tracks, listen to them, listen to the whole thing. And we found by giving that listening service away, it actually helps us sell albums. And of course, that's what I do. I make a living selling my music. And I appreciate your support in that regard. And when you stream it, it also helps us out a little bit too. We do get paid a little bit for that. So I'm just your gypsy song man, wandering minstrel out here playing for you. This is the Lone Cowboy Hour, and you're watching me do this from Cowtown, Fort Worth, Texas. All right, we got another request from a friend of mine who's a wonderful disc jockey. He's done a classic music show over in Fort Dodge, Iowa for years. And he goes down to Big Bend, Texas. He may have just be coming back from there now recently. He goes down to Big Bend every winter because it can be cold in that part of Iowa. So this is a song I wrote years ago when a friend of mine was hurt and killed in an accident. A fellow by the name of Jay Chisholm. And Jay hung out a lot up around Red River, New Mexico. And in the wintertime, he'd go back down to the flatlands around Dalhart and over into Kansas and help out in the feedlots, get the cattle down to what they call winter ground. If you leave the cattle up in the mountains in Red River in the wintertime, they can be trapped up there and never get out. So let's see who requested this. That was Dale and Caroline Icor, my friends from Fort Dodge, Iowa, and from also Big Bend. They still go down there to that area. There was snow on the Spanish Peaks that morning. Summertime was coming to an end. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. Tried to say goodbye to my old friend. He was happy drawing wages as a cowboy, and he lightened up my campfire with his song. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart when the grass turned brown and fall was coming on. Well, that long and lonesome ride to Dalhart, when it's time to bring summer cattle down, board up the shack, blow out the candle, get on down to the panhandle, time for getting down to winter ground. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. Thought about the way he lost his life, working over in a Kansas feedlot, when he left behind 3 children and a wife. Nobody knows exactly how it happened. He was all alone when that big horse went down. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart when his partners brought him home to winter ground. Well, that long and lonesome ride to Dalhart, time to bring summer cattle down, board up the shack, blow out the candle, get on down to the panhandle, time for getting down to winter ground. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. There was hundreds at the church. Got there 6 strong cowboys with long black coats and black hats. walking slowly as the fiddler played an air. Then the preacher said, this young man just changed horses. Now he rides a white horse for the Lord. Took a long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. Kept on riding till he crossed that Jordan ford. Oh, that long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. Time to bring summer cattle down. Board up the shack, blow out the candle, get on down to the panhandle. Time for getting down to winter ground. Well, that long and lonesome ride to Dalhart. Time to bring summer cattle down. Board up the shack, blow out the candle, get on down to the panhandle. Time for getting down to winter ground. Time for getting down to winter ground. And that was for Dale and Caroline Icor, my friends from Fort Dodge, Iowa. Also want to send that out to the original family of Jay Chisholm, who had to experience that sad situation. But Jay Chisholm was an inspiring cowboy. And this goes out to all working cowboys out there who risk their lives in the beef industry and horse industry every day of the week. It's a dangerous job. It's not something you want to just do one day you decide you're going to do it. You got to learn to ride a horse. You got to learn a lot about cattle. And you got to do some fence work, and you got to do a lot of different kinds of things that do require some risk. And sometimes it doesn't go how you plan. So that goes to every working cowboy out there. That's who I love to play to. I know that these men and women, working cowboys and cowgirls, are America's finest. And we owe them a great big debt. And they are the most American of all Americans because they do the most American of jobs, a cowboy job. Cowboying, as we know it today, and as is portrayed in the Westerns, probably started in Spain and Mexico by the vaqueros and other places, and they have cowboy in other country, but the style that we experience today, it's a pretty American thing. And America has added a lot to these things. Okay, let's do another request. This is a song about a little town that I hang out in quite a bit called Red River. And play this song every time we play a show at the Rocking 3M Chuck Wagon in the summers in Red River. By the way, we start the last week in June this year, and this year we're going all the way into the fall. And also be doing some concerts around in the region. So if you want to get away, get out of the hot plains or the other hot places in the country. Red River is about 70 degrees, 75 degrees high in the summer. Once in a while, it'll creep up to 80. And where is Red River, New Mexico? It's just north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's a little spot on the map, but it's right in the heart of the Sangre de Cristo range of the Rocky Mountains. Great trout fishing. If you come out there in the fall, it's great hunting. It's great outdoor recreation. You can rent horses, four-wheelers. There's lots of places to camp, lots of places to hike, like at the Enchanted Forest ski area, which turns into a hiking trail in the summertime. We love and support all of those businesses and like to be around it. Also, great places to eat, like the Texas Red Steakhouse. Texas Reds is owned by the people who financed and put together the Rocking 3M Chuck Wagon Amphitheater for me almost 10 years ago now in the Red River Valley. So this one goes out to J.S. Cano, Renita Hunziger again, Renita's one of our most reliable, most strong supporters. And also to Steve and Priscilla Hagelin, who run the great Texas Red Steakhouse up there. From this valley, they say, you are going. Shall miss your bright eyes and sweet smile. They say you are taking the sunshine that has brightened our pathway a while. Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu, but remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. I've been thinking a long time, my darling, of the sweet words you never would say. Now, alas, all my fond hopes have vanished. They say you are going. Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu, but remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Cowboy who loves you so true. You know, there was an old watering hole called Texas Red Saloon in old Lavaca town and in old Red River town. And there was a old piano there that was blistered, marred, and brown. And a man more battered still, who was taking drinks for free, as he played all night from memory over the yellow keys. Whir of a wheel, slap of cards, talk of loss and gain, mixed with the sound of honeybees down a sunny lane. Glimpses of your mother's face, a touch of girlish lips, often made you lose your place as you stacked your poker chips. And for days and days, you'd hum a little scrap of tune. Funny place for music, down in Red Saloon. Just remember the Red River Valley cowboy who loves you so true. All right, real quick, I'd like to do another request for a good friend of mine named Joe Walking, who requested this song. This is a Long Line of Love, and Joe is a great mandolin player, great singer, guitar player, and a fiddler. He lives up in the Colorado Springs, Canyon City area. And he is with a band called Sons and Brothers. These guys are a great band. You can go to sonsandbrothers.com and find a way to get their music. Anyway, this goes out to Joe Walking and his family. Bought a beautiful diamond ring, offered it to the sweetest thing I know. Said she would take it. Started making some wedding plans. Looked at me and she took my hand and she said, do you think we can make it? Said my granddad's still alive, my grandma. My dad still thinks my mom sweetest thing he ever saw. Come from a long line of love. Times get hard, we don't give up. Forever's in your heart and in your blood. Come from a long line of love. Years went by and we had a son. Now he thinks that he's found someone for him. Planning a wedding. Called me up on the phone today just to see what I had to say to him. Did I think he was ready? Said what his grandfather used to say to me. It's been handed down for ages. It runs in the family. Come from a long line of love. Times get hard, we don't give up. Forever's in your heart and in your blood. Come from a long line of love. Just remember now, we come from a long line of love. Well, this has been the Lone Cowboy Hour. Hope you'll tune in next week when we continue on with our stories about the different albums that I've made. Next week we're going to cover a movie that I was in, that I wrote the script for with another guy named Michael. This was a movie called Hard Country, and the soundtrack was produced by yours truly. So until next time, remember what the old Lone Cowboy says. If you want something done right, do it yourself. Or if you have to assign it to somebody else, make sure you know how to tell him how to do the job because you've analyzed how to do it yourself. This is the Lone Cowboy Hour. Good night. Riding wildfire, riding wildfire, riding wildfire. Keep on loving and living like wildfire. Good night.